Can I have my drink?
I'm gonna keep that part in. Can I have my drink?
Can I have my drink? Thank you.
Hello and welcome everybody to our 1 year special. It's our 1 year anniversary for this YouTube channel. Obviously, if you've been following Culz Paranormal at all, you know we've had a previous channel. It's still active, still live. You can still see anything that was on it. But as we sort of grow and evolve as a team, we thought we'd make a new channel. So everything we put on it was really 100% accurate, really good quality, and not rushed. And so on July 19th, 2019, we made our channel. It's not the anniversary of our first video, but we definitely thought it'd be cool to take a look back, a little retrospective, and see what everyone did, and as a whole channel, how we've done this previous year. So I'm Keegan Cool, along with my brother Colin Cool and my uncle Mark Cool. We are the co-founders of Culz Paranormal back in 2008. And if you watch this new channel, you know I'm the host of Architectural Adventures, as well as, I guess, the interviews. Since we got our first one done, I was pretty excited about that.
Hi, I'm Matt, host of Spirits of the Silver Screen.
Hi, I'm Andrew, host of Alpha Reviews.
I'm Bailey, and I'm the host of Tales of the Craft.
Hello everyone, my name is Sam, and I'm the host of Weekly Abductions.
Howdy everyone, my name is Colin. I'm the host of Mining Memoirs and part of the Culz Paranormal investigation team.
The first question I'm going to have everybody answer is going to deal with our shows. Everyone has their own show that they are sort of in charge of on the channel. And that way, you know, if you're passionate about something, it's going to show through the camera. And so I want to make sure everyone, if they're passionate about subjects, let's have them cover that. What we also do at Culz Paranormal is we have a 3-team approach when we're doing our paranormal investigations, be it UFO, ghosts, cryptids. And that is, we're going to have 3 teams, Team Phoenix, Team Mammoth, Team White Shark. And each team has a different role. I think that's good because you got to cross all your T's and dot all your I's on investigation. Otherwise, evidence might slip through, or evidence you might give out might not be good. So you want to make sure 100% without a doubt whatever you say you can prove, or at least you can back up. Team Phoenix's job, which is what the team I'm in charge of, is to go in there and prove the haunting, prove the cryptid, prove the aliens. Sometimes it's harder than others, but we got to go in there and try to catch evidence of that. Team Mammoth, which is led by Preston McBride, is to go in there and debunk it. They are skeptics of the group, and I think that is great. We need those on the team. We need skeptics. If we have old believers, you know, you're going to find stuff all the time. We want to make sure if we find stuff, we're finding stuff. We're not finding it because we think we want to find it or something like that. Our third team is Team White Shark, led by Hickson. Their job is to be the open-minded group. When we go in the investigation, we try not to tell them anything that's been experienced. Sometimes you go to bigger places, say the Phoenix Lights, we talk about that maybe, or you go to the Stanley Hotel or Waverly Hills. It's been done so much, they're going to know a little bit. But when you go into like a homeowner's house, they don't know anything. If they were to experience something the homeowner did, I think that's pretty compelling to me. As far as Architectural Adventures, it's a show that I was really excited to start doing. I love architecture. I draw buildings all the time. Been doing it for as long as I can remember. So to share some history of different buildings, but also to share the fun things you can do, be it special events, observation decks, whatever. You can go eat at some of these places. Plus our history. I think that's fascinating to me. The interviews are cool because you get to hear from some minds that aren't us. So there's no vacuum. It's something I want to really continue to do.
Alright, so on Spirits of the Silver Screen, what I would like to accomplish is to take those Hollywood movies that everyone is so fascinated about, you know, that have poltergeist experiences in it, and find out the true stories that led to the Hollywood experience.
So what I do is I take all the devices that we use, I figure out the history behind them, I talk about that, I figure out if they work or not, how they work, if they're even worth it to use.
Tales of the Craft is essentially a journey through witchcraft. It's pretty much anything and everything that you would need to know about Wicca. It explains palmistry, it explains tarot cards, it explains like herbs, anything that you would want to know, essentially. It's just ultimately a guide, and more or less to make witchcraft and Wicca kind of known to the public eye and a little less scary. It's just kind of like a guidebook for people to understand it a little bit better.
Weekly Abductions is basically the looking into supposed UFO cases, supposed or actual UFO cases that have either been covered up or are just being like hidden, just basically covered up, but looking into other worldly beings and other dimensional beings.
So with the mining memoirs, it's just to kind of recap a lot of the history that once was with the mining age. A lot of the stuff we have is thanks to those miners that went down into those dangerous tunnels, and some of which didn't come back out. We take a lot of this stuff for granted that they had to work hard for, and I kind of want to bring that back up and kind of recoup that history and bring back the knowledge and kind of show you some of the old structures and possibly even some of the old workings of the mines.
Alright, so I've done 2 architectural adventure episodes so far. Stuff I'm pretty happy that we were able to do. The first one was the Republic Plaza, the tallest building in Denver, Colorado, at a height of 714 feet. And the thing we were doing was the Fight for Air climb, put on by the American Lung Association. Hopefully it goes on this year. It might not, because obviously the pandemic, we don't know how long it's going to last. But it was really fun. You climb almost 1,200 stairs, you're raising money for charity, and it was really cool to share that. Our second one we did, we went up to Cheyenne, Wyoming, which was our first out-of-state video for this channel, which was really exciting feat for all of us. And we went to the Cheyenne Train Depot, which was the old Union Pacific Railroad Depot. We went there because they have a museum, which is a really, really fascinating museum. Lots of history, lots of railroad artifacts. If any of that interests you, it's something to check out. There's also a lot of railroad stuff in Cheyenne, so you could tie it in with some other stuff. Along the way, we saw the Cheyenne Big Boy 4004 engine. Giant engine. It's the largest steam locomotive. It's parked in Holiday Park. We also got to see the Wyoming Pyramid, which is the Ames Monument, and that was dedicated for the Transcontinental Railway, the highest point. And we also snuck in an Abraham Lincoln Memorial that was up there, because why not? We have done one interview. It was with Max Hawthorne, so that was really fun. He's an author I got in contact with a little bit ago. I've loved his books, so it's really cool to see some of his scientific theories, talk about his books. I hope we can do more.
So far this year, Spirits of the Silver Screen, we have brought you The Poltergeist, which we filmed at Cheeseman Park in Denver, Colorado. The story was about the popper up north, or northeast, up in New York. We brought you the Ouija story. Ouija, dating back to the early 1800s, with the meaning of it being more to communicate with your loved ones than it was a scare factor. Today it's more of kind of like a novelty type thing. And then we've also brought you the Blair Witch Project. Blair Witch Project, is based off of a true story on a film that some people found, and they produced it. Kind of interesting, but at the same time the movie was terrible, but we'd like to know a little bit more about it. And I look forward to more Spirits of the Silver Screens. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know. I'm always open ears to finding out the meaning behind maybe your favorite scary movie.
So I've done 2 episodes so far. I did the PSB-7. That's a pretty neat device. It's a spirit box. What it does is it sweeps through a bunch of different channels. It kind of gives the spirit a chance to speak through it. We did get a few things on our last investigation. It was pretty nice to do some hands-on testing with it. We got some curse words through it, which obviously you're not allowed to curse on the radio, so that was pretty neat. The second video that we did was not really a tool that we use, but it's connected to the paranormal. Definitely wanted to do a little review on it. The Ouija board, did the history behind it, pretty neat history.
So the 2 videos that I've been in so far was the salt, an introduction to salt, which salt is kind of like the major basic thing in witchcraft. It's like such a cleansing element. It's amazing. So we pretty much just kind of talk about how important it is and like what it's good for. And then the next video that I was in was the seance video, and that essentially like kind of explains, but not really, but kind of explains kind of how to like communicate with things and hold a seance and how to protect yourself a little bit more, how to build like an energetic circle so you can communicate with things on the other side without like harming things too much, I guess. Yeah.
So the episode that I've been in this year was the hot air UFO episode, where we were trying to recreate the phenomenon, or the basically lantern that was decided that it was, or the cover-up of what it was. And a couple of attempts failed. We weren't using the correct items, and then we kind of just gave up and bought a lantern.
So recently, some of the videos on that mining memoir was about the Victor mines down in Colorado. And it was to kind of show you some of the cool mines, and it was kind of cool to revisit one of those trails that we went, me and Keegan, as kids. We saw a lot of those structures still standing as kids that weren't standing anymore in this video.
Alright, so on Spirits of the Silver Screen, we always add a little bit of humor towards our reviews. It's meant to be, you know, just kind of a relaxed, joking atmosphere, like you were sitting around with some buddies. Not such a quite serious review on it, but the humorous side and what we found funny about it and what was actually factual about the film. If you guys have been following me since the first Spirits of the Silver Screen episode, you know I was possessed in the Poltergeist episode, so I'm having fun with that so far. Kind of some of the weird stuff that goes on when I space out, or don't realize where I am, or when the Poltergeist video just magically appears in my hands. It's been fun, and like I said, I look forward to continuing to go with this, and wait till you see where it goes.
So we do my series a little differently, a little funner. We do it more like an infomercial.
Alright, so we did one real investigation, I should say, this year. Obviously we did some little stops at Mammon Ridge or Third Bridge, but we were able to help somebody, and whenever you can help somebody, you gotta do it, and it's what we're here for. You know, we want to help people as much as possible, no matter what it is, paranormal, not paranormal, we're here, you know. And right away from the phone call, I could tell Beth was super sincere, and I was excited going into it, and I think everyone had some of the best experiences that they've had, pretty much outside of maybe my top couple places, you know, like super haunted places like Waverly Hills or something. And the things that stuck out to me was, at one point, I did see like a shadow figure, which was crazy, because I mean, I haven't seen any of those since Waverly Hills or my old house, and so that was really cool to see again. Because even for me, I'm like, maybe I don't know what I saw. So every time you see it, it's kind of like a little piece of candy. But the thing that really, really stuck out to me was the spirit box and the things we were getting from it. We were getting, obviously, first off, whatever was there didn't like us. There was a couple things, but the one thing, it did not like us. It might have been the cornflake man, the burn man, whatever. But it was throwing expletives out there, F you, F this, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, it touched Andrew, and we'll get into their experiences because it was crazy. But the one that really kind of makes me speechless is Andrew and Beth were asking, you know, who's here, and it said Beth's daughter's name, and I mean, to hear something like that, I don't have any words for that. I mean, it's not the only ones we got from that voice saying it was her name, and do you remember? Come on, you remember? Stuff like that. It's speechless. We do plan on getting you guys the actual episode for that at some point, hopefully this year. We've had some troubles after that with a computer. Trying to edit over an hour didn't do very well. It would shut down and lose everything. So luckily we do have a new computer now, so we can edit that. But if you stay tuned, I think there'll be something else with that investigation. So when that happens, we'll probably talk about it on our Facebook and Instagram, so keep an eye out.
So earlier in this year, Culz Paranormal had the opportunity to do a full-on investigation in Monument. We went to a house out there. The lady, you know, had complained about filling a lot of different stuff in her house, and it's been that way for generations. So we went down into the basement where most of the activity happened, and we at the time, you know, broke off into separate rooms. There were times where we'd be walking as a group and you would feel the need to go one direction while everyone else was going somewhere else. It was really interesting. There was a portal-like thing in the basement. You had happy spirits, evil spirits, some things that were not spirits, more like a demonic type possession type thing. I do recall seeing an apparition in the basement. We were sitting in the main gathering space, and Alan was in front of me with his back towards the hallway, and I looked down the hallway because we were talking to him, and in the far back bedroom, around the corner appeared to be like a little short leprechaun-looking feller. He looked down, he kind of had a grin, and back into the room he went. There was one time where we were sitting in the room doing kind of a little, you know, chat with whatever spirit maybe wanted to communicate, and the room temperature dropped drastically, and then all of a sudden across the back of my neck I felt a couple fingers just run across my neck. So that was kind of intriguing. I'm not gonna lie, got the blood rushing a little bit, but no, it was a good experience so far this year.
So we've done one investigation so far this year. It's been pretty interesting. A little bit of activity. I felt like I got touched, but I'm still fighting with that in my head. Still think it's all psychological there.
The investigation at Beth's was kind of crazy. It was fairly intense for me because I never really experienced anything like it. But anyway, they have, and it stuck with me to this day. It really has. They have this little, I don't want to call it a demon, but a demon that they call the Cornflake Man, and he literally looks like his face is peeling off, and like it's been burned, like he has cornflakes on his face, and this little guy like torments these people. It's horrible, and he runs around in their basement and just scares the living daylights out of them for shits and giggles. And so on that investigation, the biggest thing that stuck with me was being in the basement and literally communicating with the Cornflake Man, because I'm a sensitive, and for some reason, I see them. I don't know if I see them like normal people do, or if people even do see them like I do, but but they literally present themselves to me, and I just see them. So I was sitting in Beth's old bedroom when she was younger, and I was looking into the closet where this thing originates from, and I saw it peeking its head around the corner of the closet, like it was like looking at me and like analyzing me, like, what are you doing here, sort of thing. And it showed me its face almost to try to scare me. And I looked at it and I was like, I'm not afraid of you. So what are you gonna do? Like, what are you gonna do, pal? So anyway, I literally saw it like hug the wall and like try to hide by the wall and like in the shadows and run down the hallway, and it dodged past Keegan, and I think Andrew was in the next room, and I was like, guys, did you just see that? Because it blew my mind. So that image is like burned into my mind. I cannot forget that. It was an intense experience for sure.
I unfortunately only got to be able to go to Beth's house one time, and we weren't actually going up there for an actual investigation. We were just going up there to release what my fellow members have experienced there before, and then we kind of just spur of the moment decided to go down there with some equipment. We didn't have too much with us, and my experience there was, I don't know, not as intense as some of the other group members. It was more whatever beings or entities that were there were trying to go between rooms to talk to everybody who was trying to communicate with them. So it was kind of like bouncing back and forth, relaying small amounts of messages to them. Or there was too many beings there that it was just not communicating properly or picking up things in other rooms opposed from what was there. So it was kind of mild in my experience, but I was only up there one time, which was unfortunate, but it happens.
Is what has been your favorite locations that we've been to this year? And for me, that's really hard because I've been to every single one we've gone to, and to just pick a handful was really, really difficult because we've been to some really great locations this year. And so if I could only pick 5, I don't even know. Not in any order. I would say the Summer White House in Morrison was really awesome. It's a place I've been looking at doing for almost the entire year. And so to at least get that vlog out there, that was really fun. Just like I talked about the Cheyenne Train Depot, it's a really, really great museum. I mean, I can't say enough about it. Great building. It's the first time we saw the Ames Monument, so I was really excited to do that. Maybe third would be Sasquatch Outpost. To have something like that in Colorado is really cool. You'd expect it maybe in Oregon or Washington, maybe California, being that's where, you know, the big sightings are. So to have something like that in our own backyard was really, really good. 2 would be Pride Republic Plaza. Not only to raise money, that was a really great cause. So I mean, I hope we can do it again this upcoming year. But to also be able to see, you know, a side of Denver you don't get to see because there's no observation decks in Denver. So to get to see Denver from its highest building was, you know, a once-in-a-lifetime thing, perhaps. And, you know, something that I was really excited that we were able to do was the Potato King episode for the extra credit stuff. And to be able to tell the story of this Denver, like, pioneer who did a lot that really people, I don't think, know about. I was really glad to see his stuff. We went to DU, Ruby Hill, went to Riverside Cemetery to pay our respects and see where he was buried. And so, by far, I think that was my favorite episode we've done.
All right, so being the outdoors type person I am, I very much enjoyed our journeys so far. Cheeseman Park was really interesting, really cool to see, you know, where a live cemetery once was, and now it's a park, and it's still a cemetery in a way, in the sense that there are still bodies there, but people lay in the grass and play on top of it, and you have no idea what is going on underneath you. Our journey to Castlewood Canyon, really cool. A lot of interesting artifacts there. The old house, the homestead, pretty neat thing to see. Going out to Third Bridge, again, really cool place to be. I really wish there would have been more of kind of like, you know, the poltergeist experiences going on at the time. It was a little bit of a quiet night, but it was still really cool. I enjoyed the Sasquatch outpost up in Bailey. Again, another well done. A lot of interesting facts there. It really helped me continue my belief that, you know, Sasquatch is out there. And then Meeman Ridge, right here in Castle Rock, Colorado. Pretty cool how, you know, it's 60 degrees, you know, and then you hit that little pathway down by the creek and it feels like it drops to 30. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff, a lot of neat places. I'm looking forward to more of the outdoor journeys, and yeah.
Definitely did quite a few fun things this year. One of the ones that I enjoyed the most was Victor, Colorado, and going through and doing all the mines and stuff like that, checking out all the history there. That was pretty neat. What else was fun? Sasquatch Outpost, that was fun. Still don't believe in Sasquatch, but it was fun. What else was there? It was pretty neat. Cheeseman Park, I definitely like that one. And the history behind that, how it's a grave but not really a grave. We just went on a trip, Wyoming. It's pretty neat. Got to see the Ames Pyramid and the Lincoln Monument that was down there. We also saw Big Boy, ginormous steam train. Dude, that thing was massive. So fun to look at. It was a pretty cool trip. I did some of the filming. That was neat.
Okay, well, my favorite locations that I remember was definitely Beth's, because it was just, it was intense and it was an experience, and I would love to go back, and I want to just do everything I can to help these wonderful people, because they truly were so kind, and they deserve the best, and I hate that they're living with this thing, but what are you gonna do, right? And then my next favorite location, I think, was Cheeseman Park. Was really cool. We had a lot of cool experiences up there, and there's a lot of history with it, so that was really fun to learn about.
So the most intriguing places that I've been to this year has been the Sasquatch Outpost up in Bailey, because it's been, I don't know, I've always been intrigued by that whole cryptid, as they want to call it. And then the next one, the Summer White House, because it was a fun little adventure up there. And then probably the last one, I'd have to say Castlewood Canyon, because Castlewood Canyon's always a nice place to go to.
I just enjoyed the Victor mine because you could still see a lot of the old A-frames. A lot of the old machinery is still there that power the hoist and all that stuff. It would be kind of cool to see maybe a mock-up of what mine would have been in real life. But Victor mine was so far my favorite and only favorite of the series.
Alright, so the next question I'm going to have everyone answer is, what do you hope to be doing this year, this upcoming year up to January 19th, 2021? And who knows what we'll be able to get done, obviously, with all the shutdowns and everything. But at least on my wish list, obviously I want to do some more architectural adventure episodes. And maybe if we could get, Chicago episodes done. I mean, it's my favorite city. It's got my favorite building, the Sears Tower. I would be very happy. If we could do some more interviews too. I'm definitely reaching out to some people, so hopefully we get some more. And hopefully they tie in a little bit with what we've discussed on the channel at that time. And for the third thing, I hope we are able to do some more bigger locations, and definitely some more out of state things. We still want to bring you lots of Colorado stuff, but if we can bring you some more stuff out of Colorado too, I think that would be really cool. If we can continue just to tell history and tell these awesome stories, it'd be fantastic.
Alright, so with Culz Paranormal, we have some really cool, fun trips planned. Some of them we can't tell you about quite yet. But I would like to check out, down south we got Chaco Historic National Park, I think would be a really cool place to check out. A lot of history there with some of the Indians and the tribes from long ago. I think eventually when we get up to the Stanley, that's going to be really cool to see. The area around the Stanley is beautiful. The Stanley is beautiful itself. And yeah, just some of these other outdoor areas that have that paranormal experience type atmosphere. I think it'd be a lot of fun to continue to check out and investigate what it could be.
Future things that I would love to do was definitely, talk about some of the Wicca tools. Roswell, New Mexico, I think would be fun. Yeah, there's a lot of things on the list that I definitely want to try out, but
further topics that I would like to cover, I would love to just totally dive into the witchcraft thing. Like, I want a video literally explaining every little thing I can explain. Literally from tarot cards to crystals to anything you can imagine. And that also requires me learning a lot about it too. So that's going to be really fun because I need to learn about that stuff. And then, yeah, so that's what I want. That's how I kind of want to guide this whole next year, this whole journey, is just kind of like, make it like a book, I guess, like a guide. But somewhere I'd really love to go is Louisiana with you guys. I think New Orleans would be really cool because there's a whole voodoo culture that I would really love to get into. So that's a big one for me.
A location that I want to get to this year is going to be Hooper, Colorado, for the UFO watchtower. It's the most reasonable of ones. Other than that, I plan to get to some that are overseas at one point that are like known for big sightings and activities.
So maybe looking forward to more episodes coming. I'm hoping that we could get into a mine and maybe go down with a couple tour guides to kind of help explain what is going on in that mine, with how the miners dug out the stopes, to maybe if there are winches down there, which would be kind of cool to see the old machinery down there. It'd be kind of cool to bring you all along to see that part of the history, because a lot of people don't see it.
Alright, so we wanted to kind of keep track of our top 10 videos by view and view time, as well as our top 5 most liked videos. That way we can see, are any of them at all in our top 10 next year, or have they all completely changed? So we'll start off with our liked, and I wrote them down so I don't have to remember. So top 5 most liked, there's a tie at 4 and a tie at 2. So number 4 is Alpha Reviews, the review of the Spirit Box, as well as Ghost of Easter. Number 2 is Spirits of the Silver Screen Poltergeist, as well as First Contact. And our most liked video so far, at least for our first year, is Alpha Reviews of the Silver Screen Ouija. Alright, so our top 10 most viewed videos for our first year were: number 10, Weekly Abductions, Hot Air UFO. Number 9, Architectural Adventures, Republic Plaza. Number 8, Alpha Reviews of the Silver Screen Ouija. Number 7, our extra credit teaser. Number 5 is a tie, so there's Weekly Abductions trailer, as well as Alpha Reviews trailer. Number 4, Alpha Reviews the Spirit Box review. Number 3, extra credit, the Potato King. Number 2, Spirits of the Silver Screen Poltergeist. Number 1, Abandoned Colorado, Castlewood Dam. Alright, now we get to our top 10 most viewed videos by view time. It's a little bit different than our most viewed, so let's take a look. Number 10, Ghost of Easter. Number 9, Extra Credit, the Potato King. Number 8, Alpha Reviews, the Spirit Box. Number 7, Weekly Abductions, Hot Air UFO. Number 6, Architectural Adventures, Republic Plaza. Number 5, Mighty Memoirs, the Vindicator Valley Trailhead Part 1. Number 4, Spirits of the Silver Screen Poltergeist. Number 3, our Max Hawthorne interview. Number 2, Abandoned Colorado, Castlewood Dam. And our most viewed video by view time for our first year is Alpha Reviews of the Silver Screen, our Ouija episode. So, hey everyone, you're doing great. Well, we've been able to do some great things. It's been tough, not just not just the pandemic and everything, but within the group we've lost people that we've known, that we were close to. So that was.
Wishing, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have had a lot of losses here. It just, I don't know.
this year, this first year, last year overall, we've lost a couple really good friends to the group.
We lost a friend, Sarah Sharp.
Our most recent one, Sarah, was a beautiful, bright soul, had a lot of spunk and personality, and wonderful person. Just unfortunately had some inner demon battles that she was fighting with, and they ended up getting the better of her.
And then we lost our friend Aidan, which if you watched our Spotty Reception channel, you know him from our Seattle videos. I had known him for as long as I could remember. We worked together. I went to high school with his sister. My dad was friends with his grandfather, so Aidan was a great guy. We used to talk rocks and fossils.
And then, we go back to Aidan, who was our...
And it's been, I don't know, it's been hard, but
he was a good friend. He was very fun, another outgoing personality. He would be the one that would walk up to a stranger, maybe sometimes when he had a little too much to drink, but he would be the first one to walk up to somebody and say hi and introduce himself. He was fascinated with nature as well. He loved collecting his mineral rocks and geological rocks, and he would be more than happy to share and talk to you about it and have a full-on conversation. So yeah, it's been a tough year. Those were two big losses for our group, and we hold both of them dear to our hearts, and can't wait to be with them again someday. Whether they're going to join us out here on a spiritual call someday, or when we see them up there in the great big blue skies above.
My papu, his name was Joel Weissman, and that's still tough. And it's definitely led some changes, obviously, in the videos we were scripting out, because he was going to be a part of a lot of them this year. He was going to play in the Spirits of the Silver Screen episode. He was going to play Matt's neighbor because he didn't believe in the ghosts. And we have a funny story with Colin, and he kind of joked with us with his alien mask and kind of tricked us and kind of spooked Colin. So that was a funny story we always talked about. And if you watch our old channel, he played a Christmas alien for us in our Christmas special. And so yeah, he was gonna play Matt's neighbor, total skeptic, as Matt kind of delved into being somebody crazy and possessed because of the Poltergeist movie. And he was going to kind of play the same character as the main lead in The Changeling, which obviously we've had a rescript, and we weren't since he wasn't able to do much. Since we weren't able to film much before he had passed. And then we were planning on going to Victor, which we were able to do. Doing some train rides and some more museums and stuff. So, and my love of movies and stuff like that, I probably got from him. I watched the original King Kong, the original Day the Earth Stood Still, Patton, the Desert Rats, the Desert Fox. I could go on and on. And so, luckily, he did leave a lot of books and ideas that we're gonna still do. So it's just first person when I'd finish a history thing, I'd talk to him. So to not be able to bounce off ideas and stuff. And
For so far, we've had some loss this year, and it really sucked. It's been brutal. But me personally, I didn't really know those people that well, so I'm just here for support for everybody who did, because I know a lot of my friends knew these people, so I just hope we can make it through it.
So much more I want to say, but it's still hard.
So we did lose a few good friends this year. Friends of the group.
So that their memories continue and you guys can maybe see a little bit of what we got to see, you know?
What's up?
Oh my God, don't do it. I'm just kidding.
Alright, so we're here day one.
We know it's just like, what's up? So do you mind being in our
This is my friend. This is our friend Seth.
But the reason
Okay. You playing orange with Babu? Get it.
So we started this channel last year. I don't think this is exactly where we thought we would be. But with the pandemic, obviously, we've been limited to the stuff we've been able to do. I'm really proud of what everyone has done. And to still, even though we're limited with maybe what we are doing, we're still not giving you crap. We're still trying to give you the best we can. And so I'm really, really proud with everyone. Everyone's done some fantastic work. And I just can't say enough. We have a great team. And I really think everyone's really going to go far in everything that they want to do. So I can't wait to see where everyone goes.
I think as a group we've made great growth this year. For in 1 year to do what we've achieved, we definitely have some momentum going, and I really can't wait to see what the second year brings our group.
Yeah, I think we did a lot of fun things this year. Matt's Silver Screen, Spirits of the Silver Screen, that's some of my favorite episodes to work on. They're pretty fun, pretty entertaining. And hanging out with Sam and his alien stuff, that's been pretty fun too. But yeah, check us out, man. We got a lot of stuff coming up.
Well, I think this has really been, so far it's been a really good experience for me because I've learned a lot, and this is stuff that I love to do, and I don't get to do it with like your typical group, you know? So this is really cool. It's definitely an experience, and I can genuinely say it's real because Beth's house was crazy. So, other than that, I love these guys. They're kind of like my brothers, so it's like a whole group. I love it. It's a lot of fun.
And then, I don't know, out of the groups that I've been throughout my time with Culz Paranormal before and to now, this group is a really good, strong one. We have very diverse thinking, like, people in different ways. Like, we all have a different view of things, which is always helpful and important for a group, because then you see all different sides of spectrums that will look like arguments, but it's just different views and other ways to like perceive how things are happening through the eyes or reality of others. So I'm pretty excited about this group that we have at the moment. Like the core ones are stronger. We are taking on some new people that you will start seeing, and we'll see what happens, but as of right now the core group is, I think, a really strong one, and we have lots of potential to helping. And
So with Culz Paranormal, there's a lot of cool videos on the channel. Link here to go to the homepage and you'll see all that fun jazz. But there's a lot of interesting topics coming up on this, and I think for the most part the group's done pretty cool and done pretty well with how much videos are going up, all the topics that are going up. Sasquatch, okay. I guess I believe in Bigfoot, so that's not too far of a stretch, right? Probably angered half the audience right there, but for the most part, there's a lot of cool videos going up, and we're headed in the right direction with some cool videos. Hopefully with some of the ghost hunts that we'll have going, get back into the paranormal as well.
All right, welcome to the very first episode of Spirits of the Silver Screen. My name is Matt.
ever since the Poltergeist episode, he hasn't been himself.
Sounds like Matt might be possessed.
Or an uneasy, restless spirit of an angry chief.
And sins!
Because right over here we got a diesel engine.
I got the map. I know how to read a map.
Matt, this isn't a map.
Would you recommend people watching this?
If they want a good laugh.
The Republic Plaza. I found the cabin.
Alright, here stands the original fence, or cemetery gates.
It's a cabin.
So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the clip that you just saw.
Oh, nope, that's just Andrew.
So right behind me you see the head frame of the Teresa mine down in the Vindicator trail here.
Speed, Andrew, what's the top speed of this?
80 miles per hour,
80
dude.
miles.
Like, I couldn't imagine how long it would take to stop this thing.
Buildings, but this one in particular is what we're gonna go take a look at. Built in.
Hi, I'm Andrew. Are you tired of your Ouija board not working?
I don't even like the movie.
How'd you like to learn?
Feeling to overshadow me.
So how did you see it? Shine on me.
And it was a moneymaker. He went from just having one factory in Baltimore to having 2 factories in Baltimore, 2 factories in New York, 2 factories in Chicago, and 1 in London.
GPS took us a little wrong way, so it took us a little bit longer.
Yep.
Teachings and have a university here in Denver to work.
Tell us your name. Follows the case of the Flatwoods Monster in Flatwoods, Virginia.
And sins.
So why would a 6-inch tooth indicate a 60-foot shark if a 3 1/4-inch tooth equals a 22-foot shark? You see what I'm saying? That would mean 6.5-inch tooth, which would be like this.
It's amazing.
What happens if you eat some choke cherries? What could you do?
You will die if you choke to death on them. 100%. I don't know why you
Jump to
didn't leave
death.
him
You will
on
die.
there.
All right, everybody, we want to definitely give a big thank you for helping support us and watch our videos through our first year on YouTube. Definitely a lot of cool stuff coming this year, so definitely stay tuned, and we'll see you for the celebration of year number 2. So at some point in the future, we'll do more specials kind of like this, so if you want to see more of that, click the link when it appears here. If you want to see more from us here at Culz Paranormal, click the link right here, and please give us a like. We are loving your support. Thank you guys for everything, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
And sins.
And sins.
Cigarette too.